All right. Yeah, I'm gonna had to unfortunately stop the video there for a sec. Where were we? Yeah, talking about hard drives a little bit. So hard drives in the early game are fine. There's a few good ones. Like I wouldn't hate to have cast screws. That saves you some room. And I tend to be running factories later that really don't use screws. Um, so it's not too useful in the later game. But if you can't find that like uh, flexible frame, or there's one HMF that doesn't use screws, then it's a really good thing. Um, so I like that one. What else we got in the early game? All right, now we just get to get some quickwire going.
Research completed. Quickwire recipe unlocked.
And I'll have a
New
constructor
Ethereum
helping me with
research
that.
available.
Open. Right. Now we grab some. This guy's in there. No slacking. No slacking. Alright, so he's making quickwire. I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, so Caterium. No, not Caterium. So hard drives. So I have 2 hard drives right now. Of course, I want to do more research before I get into them. And the 2 hard drives, I would say, if I could choose my recipes, one of my picks would be a fairly controversial one, I think, which would be iron pipes. I really like iron pipes. It's not a good result, or not a good hard drive for long-term use, but it can help you. The main thing it helps you with is that it's going to free up all your early production for beams, and beams is what you need the most of, not only for your T3 belts, but just to get through the space elevator part. I think you need, I'm going off the top of my head, 1,000 beams or 1,200 beams. So if you can only focus your production on that primarily, you're going to be a lot happier than having to split your production between 2. And since where we're starting has 4 pure nodes, and I don't know if you guys remember, but I'm not even using one of them right now. We would have more than enough to spare right now. And then as we expand outward, we of course can get more iron. And wherever we go, if we need pipes, you just drop down, like you can make your whole statters instead of needing to have copper in some places. You could just make the whole thing with pipes with iron, which is really nice, especially if you have like the iron wire recipe as well. So I'd say the 2 main recipes I'm looking out right now for would be cast screws and iron pipes. We can't get iron pipes until we get to the next phase. So we're going to wait to look at our hard drives until after that. Again, I do think that iron pipe would probably be my favorite to find first. But we're gonna go through this game with whatever we get. There's obviously a lot more things that are more important than iron pipes. Say, the big one, of course, being alternative heavy fuel, which is really one of the best in the game.
Will benefit from Caterium's applicability in advanced
But that's not
engineering.
till later
Also,
tiers.
it is probably not sentient, and so unlikely to feel pain as we exploit it.
So we're just going to shepherd this production along until I feel comfortable that I have enough for a while. I like to leave here with like 2 stacks of Caterium. I'm sorry, quickwire, I'd say. I could always come back for some too. 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . Start throwing some stuff away. That anymore. That anymore. Still working with Caterium. That anymore. Oh, another thing. We're not gonna decompose any of our animal remains until we get Mercer Spheres and Summer Sloops and that sort of stuff to give us another huge ticket boost around, say around hour 10 or something like that. It really depends. You need circuit boards to unlock the slooping technology. So two ways of thought. I find circuit boards come pretty early. You could go to hard drives and grind for them. I find that to be a little bit of a waste for time. I tend not to explore too much until, at the very least, I have a jetpack. Because and even when I have the jetpack, I mean jetpack with like turbo fuel. That's when I really start exploring and grabbing a lot of different hard drives. Right, Snow? Mm-hmm. Snow agrees with me, which is good. It's good to have the cat agreeing with you. You know why I'm doing this? I just realized we could be doing something else that I have the parts for. Hopefully we won't blow a fuse. And you know, in the early game, it's like little things like that, thinking like, what can I make right now, you know, behind me, that I need, not useless to make. Like making fabric right now would be pointless. Like there's way better things you can do with your time than make fabric. Because you really don't need any more until you get to sketchy parts of the map that have lots of poison and stuff. So yeah, because the next thing you need cloth for is essentially just gas filters and then iodine filters for radiation stuff. So once again, not gonna worry too much about all these things right now. But if you go, I got a stack of screws and a stack of rods in my pocket. I know I'm going home after this. I know I'm going back to base. Why not use the time to make 6 or 7 rotors? And again, if we're wondering why I'm not automating this, I can't automate it yet because I can't blow up that thing. And even when I can blow it up, I probably won't come back here for a while because it's a little out of the way, and we don't really need quickwire right now. We're gonna get more than enough tickets when we start sinking our kind of main silica base and SAM and stuff like that. And obviously quickwire becomes really important, like around tier 6, 7 area when you start really doing different types of computer stuff. But in the meantime, it is mostly just used for good power connections. All right, how are we doing? You take the rest of that. I'll finish this up. And then we'll just swoop by here in a bit and pick up that guy's quickwire. But yeah, this is about as much Caterium as I want to have, as I care to have. Quickwire rather. Let's see. Actually, let's take a look at the MAM, and that's not a MAM. That's a MAM. Okay, we've got power poles and let's get the zip line.
This provides additional power connections compared to the power pole.
Actually, I guess we'll just go down the line since we have the mats right now.
Zipline unlocked. When equipped, the zipline facilitates travel along power lines, regardless of whether the line is powered. Note: based on previous Pioneer events, Fixit recommends not using ziplines during thunderstorms and typhoons or while drinking coffee.
Who's fighting me?
Research
Where did you come
completed.
from?
AI limiter recipe unlocked. New Caterium research available.
Okay, this guy's crazy. Alright. Feed the beast. Feed the beast. Feed the beast. Throw the rest away. Let's see. Got 99 of those. And where are we here? Great. Got 15 rotors out of it. Alright. And that's that. Bye. Okay. Now we're going back to our base. I think it's over here. Again, I have terrible, terrible sense of direction. And hopefully we can get right into coal power after this. Suppose I could just look at where the hub is, go that way, but that would be too easy. Oh, we're gonna die, we're gonna die. Oops. Not. Now, I don't know what we're going to be missing, but I'm fairly sure we're going to be missing something. To make the space elevator, I mean. That way. Okay. Alright, so let's build out our little space for the space elevator and to the area where we're going to basically start expanding. Nothing too mysterious about this. Just zooping over 10. Try to get like a 6 by... we'll do a 10 by 10 foundation or something. I nailed it that time. Well, we have more, might as well. Because this is the way we're going to go when we start freeing up our factory and stuff. Alright, so now we got a little room to work on. Let's see how our smart plating is. 49, right there. Beautiful. These guys are going to be hurting for materials, that's okay. Get some scroobies. See our power. Power is fine. Alright, let's see what we need to build for the space the space elevator. Okay, what are we missing? We're missing some concrete. We're missing some. That's pretty much what I figured. So we'll go get some concrete. For recall, we have a little concrete factory back here tucked away. You jump and just circle around, you should hit it. Yep. And I think I should have enough concrete in here. It's almost always the wire that I'm waiting on. Oops. Throw any of this away. Never worry about throwing away like early game stuff. You don't need those tickets, trickling in. It's not that important. Alright. Now we get to architecture and we see, I just want to place this one so I can do it nicely. Now we see why that ladder is so good. Alright, just because I am still in disbelief, yep, we need wire. So we'll have to do a little handcrafting. So we've got to put a couple things in the bank. This. There was a little talk when 1.0 first came out about hey, now that you can belt biomass, maybe you don't have to go to coal as early. And it's true, you don't. But you could also do other things that aren't that smart either. So yeah, it's possible to not go, but the bottom line is coal is just simply too good to pass up. So I'm looking at this. I think I'm going to need a little bit of copper sheets for what we're doing. So we're going to do a little bit of handcrafting. And we're going to need some, we're going to wait for, let's see, we're going to want T2 belts for this also. So let's do some of that. Okay, we don't need rotors. This is what we need. I don't know how much copper sheets I need. I honestly can't remember right now. I think it's a few though. And then you need it for the piping. The piping's not that big of a deal. But I do think you need maybe 10 or 20 for the water production stuff. We'll take a look at that. Alright, that should be enough for everything. We got our 51 smart plates. One for good measure. And shove that in there. Everyone's seen this thing build before, I hope, because if this is your first time playing, this is not the best.
Welcome to the Project
I'm just
Assembly
going.
Pioneer Progress presentation. Congratulations, the
We'll do
Phase
the full
1
view.
project part
Take a
shipment
little
is
break.
now ready for delivery. On delivery, Phase 1 will be completed and the distribution platform will be constructed. After completion of Phase 1, the technologies of Tiers 3 and 4 will become available in the hub. Highlights are automated power, steel production, personnel transportation, and many more. Completing Phase 2 of Project Assembly is your next main objective. New project parts will need to be produced and delivered to the space elevator as you have done previously. Continue to construct, automate, explore, and exploit for a better fix-it future.
Alright, so we get the idea.
Phase 1 of Project Assembly completed. This is only the beginning of Project Assembly, the first step towards saving the day. You have performed adequately so far. Reminder, not only is Fix-It saving humanity, it is saving all of Earth, including kittens and puppies. It is statistically likely that you appreciate the continued existence of kittens and or puppies. Continue the work for their sake. Continue the work for Fix-It. It is time to start the work on Phase 2 of Project Assembly.
Alright, so let's get our coal situation situated out. And then we can come back up here and start to futz around with other stuff. Again, every time we leave, we fill these up, and we hopefully come back to some more rips and other things we need. Okay, so what I meant to do earlier, not go to photo mode, is when you go into build mode, so you see our power thing. Oh, we have to hit the milestone now. Alright, that's fair. aim it at. Alright, what do we need? Cables. There you go. Bonsoir.
Milestone reached. Power production
I'm
can
not
now
gonna
be
go into
fully
this
automated by
yet.
burning coal, which has been
Go into
added to
this
the resource
next.
scanner. Water is also necessary to run the coal-powered generator and will require a network of pipelines to be transported from a water source. To assist with locating and identifying water, Fixit has compiled this guide. Water is a somewhat reflective liquid and it may have thick vegetation growing nearby. To test if something is water, try touching it. If it is not solid and does not corrode your suit, it is probably water.
Just in case we need some other stuffs. All this taken care of. You go into, actually, why don't you to, but you're not taking this. Working? Alright. So you probably saw me take a bunch of copper ore. That's because I don't know how much sheets I'll have. So I'll just, where I'm going to build, I'll just set up a constructor, building those. And we can, of course, fly down there. But I got to lay power, so I figure coming this way is better. And I think it is. Kind of silly that we put that right in the over there. But... Okay. And remember, we don't have overclock yet, so we still have to do some funky stuff with splitting and alright. So we got our 2 miners, those are gonna make 60 each. I wanna stay away from this little piggy's island. We'll get out there soon. No concrete. Awesome. Because of the space elevator. This is a hard drive that we'll get soon. See if it has any concrete around. Stat or not really. And we're over here to our so let's see where we're at with. I think we might just this. That's kind of one of the reasons that I always start concrete first. It is kind of a bottleneck, in a weird way. Like, I wouldn't say you absolutely need it, but to do this coal build, I definitely need to be able to build on the water here. So it's pretty important. We're gonna make 8 of these.
Interesting, most pioneers already had coal power set up by this point because they understood their responsibility to humanity. Adjusting pioneer attitude metrics. Reminder, coal-powered generators require coal.
Okay, somehow I'm really low on reps. Not totally sure why. Must have miscounted a bit. So maybe we'll start with 4 coal generators and the piping for 3, and then go back, get some stuff, come back. Missing cable. Easy enough. Alright, so if that's the case, then we're just going to use MK1 belts, since we're only... We can only get 60 in, so there's no real advantage to making more than that right now. We will, but... Alright, so... Oops, that's supposed to be on that. Sticks is supposed to be... Good. 6, 7. Alright, I'm going to put my next set of coal generators right here. So I'm going to put water basically in front of these things. Now for 8, I need 3. But we're going to have to do a little handy-dandy handcrafting with that. Not too much. I think what I'm going to do is... handcraft 1, get the power going, it will be unstable, that's alright. So maybe we'll make 2. Yeah, let's do 2. Then we should be good on power until we get more of this stuff and make more plates and whatnot. This could be one of the problems of, like, if you're kind of rushing somewhat fast, you're necessarily, unless you've spent a ton of time like building out your starter area, right? Like I'm talking 4 hours or something. If you do that, then yeah, you probably have more stuff at your disposal right now to play with. So you definitely are going to have to do a little bit of handcrafting, but using material. Make sure my coal's coming. There it comes. And this is why we brought all this iron, because I wasn't sure how much of this we need. I'm guessing about 50. And it's not too bad to craft. Alright, let's see where we're at. Now, you can make these
Try submerging the lime. If it does not dissolve, that will narrow down the range of possibilities. Or you could just pipe it to a coal-powered generator and see what happens.
Okay, so copper sheet goes there, but not too much more. Probably about another 20 copper sheets. I know the habit of me always building this thing and not building it. It is maybe a little annoying, but it saves me so much trouble in the past. Let's come up here. Here to least one. All right, let's see how you. That looks good. Straight across, nice.
Fix-it pipelines can contain any fluid, including the water necessary for coal-powered generators. Note: water does not flow upwards by itself. While water extractors provide some lift, to truly defy gravity, consider the use of pipeline pumps.
Okay, no blown fuses, which is good. Couple more copper sheets. And these should all come on at the same time and basically stay on. There's not going to be any up and down, up and down. We are getting 60 in and we're using exactly 60, so the manifold system might be a little bit of a slack on the end, but usually it's not too bad. Right, hook that up to the grid, huh? There we go. Okay. Oh, and here's something good to show you too. You can see my power was eating into that bio that we had there while I was turning everything on. So if you see as this consumption line matches the production line, we were headed for a fuse break as long as we didn't. Obviously, we're building new power now. All right, so we've got our first coal done, and we got 3 in there, we've got 5 in there, we've got 38 in there, and 82 in there. So that means to me the manifold is working just as it should be, and we shouldn't have to worry about that one again. And then we're going to do the same thing with this boy over here. And we're going to go back home here in just a second. I'm going to turn that on just because I want to get some extra coal. We're gonna fight this boy. Hello. Come on. I don't want to fight him near the hatcher, which is why I'm waiting. These guys always try to get him to go around. They get a little confused about. He gets confused when he can't see me. The reason I wanted to do that is because I wanted to show you guys a trick if you don't know this one. So hatchers can be kind of annoying to deal with in the early game when you don't have anything to shoot at them. But if you just sneak up there like this, like literally, so I'm crouched down. This works on all animals, but since hatchers don't have a face, you can literally just stand right next to it, and you can even just kill it, and it won't respond. But
Samples of unknown alien species acquired. It is unclear where on the flora or fauna spectrum it lies, but initial data suggests this might be a nest or an egg. Research the remains in the MAM to establish classification and potential countermeasures.
what I was going to say is that it doesn't work quite as well with like these guys on the side here. Sneaking up, I mean, because they're a little bit usually out of reach or whatever. So in that case, I don't know if I recommend it.
Potential edible collected. Eating it and surviving does not count as a valid field test and does not generate enough data for Fixit to make an informed decision. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
I don't know why I'm grabbing it. Oh, there's a... There's a way to get this one in here. Yeah. Some slugs at this point aren't a terrible idea. Definitely want some slugs before you get into the next phase of the 1,000 smart plating and the all that stuff. And the 1,000 smart plating is definitely what will take the longest of that. So we're going to start the other two much, much earlier. We're not ready to yet, but when we do, we'll start those earlies, and then we'll power shard the smart plating, which is always going to take longer. And now that we got a little bit of power stability, we're going to straighten up our base a bit. Okay, those are making you. We got some frames. Keep doing it. All right. So now we're gonna mostly worry about just doing these machines sort of one at a time. So here's the first easy one, and we'll make it some space down here. Obviously, we're still going pretty slow until we get to tier 3, but that's kind of the plan, is what we're going to do next. So here we are, about to do some more turn-ins. And then after that, we're going to kind of do the same sort of thing of, I actually think that I will take one of these guys and start, one of these, I'm sorry, producers, miners rather, and start automating rips. We can do that right now. And then we'll get into that in the next episode. So once again, we can still only move 60 ore. $60 comes in. Concrete. No concrete. Red. Dumping the whole thing. We go up here and take a little bit on our own. Actually, I think we're gonna, when we get some more tier 2 plates, we'll do one of these as a tier 2. So I'll set it up as tier 2 right now, so we can just hook it up. So that's going to be 4 times 30 smelters at 120, which should get us at least 5 or 6 rips a minute. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I don't really do ratios. I have a good sense of them, but yeah, I don't sit around and figure out. Okay, I never use Satisfactory calculator or anything like that. No problem with doing it. It's just not fun. It makes me make mistakes, but whatever. C'est la vie. Okay, so iron. I'm gonna have to fix all this belt work later. I mean, upgrade it to tier 2. Alright, so we're gonna get 120 out. Where the hell did all my rotors go? To use them. Once again, not losing any time here, right? Because I'm limited by how many screws these things can produce. As long as I make sure these machines are working, we're basically pretty good. You know, we can kind of go by the seat of our pants a little bit here and be like, well, not that big of a deal. All right, so we'll look at our handy dandy. This is gonna be like the last thing we do today. So we got coal power on, I think within 2 hours, pretty fast. We got our Caterium done, and we finished that space elevator part. And now we're going into the mid-early game, I would say. All right, so this is how a lot of my factories are gonna end up looking. Smelter to constructor area, to assembler area, to manufacturer area. So let's just get kind of used to that shape. Let's do rips. So we know we need 30 iron plates per minute. Can we make 30 iron plates per minute? Let's see. Well, we take 30 ingots and we make 20. So what if we just double it? Let's see if we double it. How does that work? That's going to make 60. And it's going to take 90 of the ore that we're producing, right? All right. So that's 90. We're going to get out 60. So that's enough food for 2 of these guys. But now we need screws. Well, we don't have the cast iron screw yet. But let's see how much iron we need to make those screws. So we first go to iron rods. That's 1-to-1. That's 15 to 15. So here's 90, and here's the extra 30 right here. Let's go out a little bit, give ourselves some space. And then those 15 grab a couple materials. All right, where were we? So we got 90 here, making 60 plates, right? Now, those 15 iron rods gonna use 10 a minute, so a little bit unbalanced, and they want 40, they're gonna produce 40 screws. Well, let's see how many our rips want. Our rips want 60 screws per minute, so somewhere we're gonna have to add more screws, okay? The ratio isn't perfect, but we're gonna get pretty close. We're gonna get pretty close, and pretty close is good enough. Because what we'll end up doing is just using a little extra ore from somewhere else to grab those screws. All right. Or the other thing we could do is just not make 2. We could make 1, but we're gonna make 2 anyways. All right. So we'll put that assembler, say, right here, and his buddy right here. All of this is going to have to be rebelted a little bit. I have concrete on me. Just make a little bit of this while we're waiting for other things to happen. And this is really the only work I'm going to do on the base right now. We're going to go after steel after this, and more copper, more coal power. Okay, so we got that coming in there. He goes out. He goes in here. Split him off. He goes in here. Now these two guys, they need to go either on a T2 belt, or they're just gonna be, it's gonna be too slow. Right, because we're outputting 120, yeah? So this is one we have to fix, but it's not that hard. Especially once we start making our... Oops, that's not right. Alright, so that's rips working, and they're gonna work real good. And we should have enough power for all of this, since we just got our coal generators on. Alright, we got power going in here. You aren't connected to you. So now we got yellows. And plates. We're gonna make screws also. Alright. And I'm gonna wrap it up right there. Okay, so all we have to do next episode, turn this thing around, point it right in there. Boom. Reps. We'll do the same for rotors, then we'll go work on basic steel. Alright, so in about 50 minutes, finished Caterium, got sulfur going in a box, and we got our first coal set up while we're continuing to make parts to progress, as well as parts to... actually, let me feed all my machines once before I leave, just so it's not the first thing I got to do. Okay, it's looking good. I don't think we can do much there. And we might make some screws by hand and go from there. But our machines are fed, our power is stable. You notice our coal isn't dipping at all. It's not going to. We have it belted up great. We're going to do the same thing for another 4 coal generators. I was hoping to do the whole thing with T2 belts, but it seems obvious that that ship has sailed. So we'll do 2 with 4 belts, each doing 60 each, and then we'll use the T2 belts we have here to set up this system so we can get more rips and get into the mid game. All right, that's it. I got to go to a meeting. Space Cat out. Yeah, Snowy out. All right, bye-bye. Let's see where we're at. Save game. And we are at 2 hours and 15 minutes. All right, Pioneers, stay efficient. Take care.